Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sanskrit transliteration on the screen much bigger. Make the screen bigger so that we can read the verse. It's Control plus, yeah, much more bigger. Bigger, yeah, a little bigger, yeah, and only the transliteration, not the Devanagari. We don't need the Devanagari, the transliteration. Balasani and Saranamsi. No, the synonyms, just make it a little bigger, so we can see on the screen that everyone can repeat. Make it more bigger. Yes, that's it. That was it. That's it. Yeah. Yes. Narayanam namaskrityam naram cheva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jamudirayat nastavesya bhadresu nityam bharata sevayam Bhagavat Tamasloke Bhakti Bhagavati Naistike. We are reading from the 7th canto, chapter 9. Prahlad pacifies Lord Nrsimhadev with prayers. Text 19. So please repeat. Balasya Neya Sharanam Pitara Nrsimha Balasya Neya Sharanam Pitara Nrsimha Nastasya Sagadam Udamvati Matsyato No Nastasya Sagadam Udamvati Matsyato No Taptasya Tat Patividir Iyanya Sistas Taptasya Tat Patividir Indrihanya Sistas Tavat Vivo Tanugritam Tvat Upekshitanam Tavat Vivo Tanugritam Tvat Upekshitanam Balasya Neya Sharanam Pitara Nrsimha Nastasya Sagadam Udamvati Matsyato Taptasya Tat Patividir Iyanya Sistas Tavat Vivo Tanugritam Tvat Upekshitanam Balasya Neya Sharanam Pitara Nrsimha Nastasya Sagadam Udamvati Matsyato Taptasya Tat Patividir Iyanya Sistas Tavat Vivo Tanugritam Tvat Upekshitanam Balasyanaya Shaknam Pitaram Nishinga Nastasya Sagadamudam Gatinakshatavam Taptasya Tatpativideya Yasastat Tavat Vibodhanakritam Tvakupakshitana Constantly. Just give it a try. Yeah. Balasya Neyasyanam Pitaram Nishinga Natasya Sagadamudam Gatinakshatavam Taptasya Tatpativideya Yasastat Tavat Vibodhanakritam Tvakupakshitana Balasya Neyasyanam Pitaram Nishinga Nastasya Sagadamudam Gatinakshatavam Taptasya Tatpativideya Yasastat Tavat Vibodhanakritam Tvakupakshitana. But for what translation? Balasya of a little child. Na, not, iha, in this world, sharanam, shelter, protection. Pitaram, the father and mother. Nrishinga, oh my Lord Nrishingadev. Na, neither. Astasya, of a person suffering from disease. Cha, also. Agadam, medicine. Udamvati, in the water of the ocean. Matchata, of a person who is drowning. No, the boat. Taptasya, of a person suffering from a condition of material misery. Tatpatividhi, the counteraction invented for stopping the suffering of material existence. Yaha, that which in this material world, anyasa, very easily, is accepted as a remedy. Tavat, similarly, Vibo, oh my Lord, O Supreme, Tanugritam, of the living entities who have accepted material bodies. But Upekshitanam, one neglected by you and not accepted by you. Translation and purport by A.T. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki. My Lord Nishingadev, O Supreme, because of a bodily conception of life, embodied souls neglected and not cared for you cannot do anything for their betterment. Whatever remedies they accept, although perhaps temporarily beneficial, are certainly impermanent. For example, a father, a mother cannot protect their child. A physician, a medicine cannot relieve a suffering patient, and a boat on the ocean cannot protect a drowning man. Purport. Through parental care, through remedies for different kinds of disease, and through means of protection on the water, in the air, and on land, there is always an endeavor for relief from various kinds of suffering in the material world. But none of them are guaranteed measures for protection. They may be beneficial temporarily, but they afford no permanent benefit. Despite the presence of a father and mother, a child cannot be protected from accidental death, disease, and various other miseries. No one can help, including the parents. Ultimately, the shelter is the Lord, and one who takes shelter of the Lord is protected. This is guaranteed. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 9:31, Kaunteya pratijani nami bhaktyan pranashati. O son of Kunti, declare boldly that my devotee never perishes. Therefore, unless one is protected by the mercy of the Lord, no remedial measure can act effectively. One should consequently depend fully on the causeless mercy of the Lord. Although, as a matter of routine duty, one must, of course, accept other remedial measures. No one can protect one who is neglected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the material world, everyone is trying to counteract the onslaught of material nature, but everyone is ultimately fully controlled by material nature. Therefore, even though so-called philosophers and scientists try to surmount the onslaught of material nature, they have not been able to do so. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 39 that the real sufferings of the material world are four: Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, birth, death, old age, and disease. In the history of the world, no one has been successful in conquering these miseries imposed by material nature. Prakriti Amani Gunakarma Sarvasam. Nature's Prakriti is so strong that no one can overcome her stringent laws. So-called scientists, philosophers, religionists, and politicians should therefore conclude that they cannot offer facilities to the people in general. They should make vigorous propaganda to awaken the populace and raise them to the platform of Krishna consciousness. Our humble attempt to propagate the Krishna conscious movement all over the world is the only remedy that can bring about a peaceful and happy life. We can never be happy without the mercy of the Supreme Lord, Tvak Upekshitanam. If we keep displeasing our Supreme Father, we shall never be happy within this world, in either the upper or lower planetary systems. Read the verse again. Palasyanaya sharanam pitaram nishinganastasya sagadam vitamacchatanam taptasya tatpatividesya ihanyasestas tavat vibodam vitam tvakupekshitanam. My Lord Nrsimhadev, O Supreme, because of a body conception of life, the embodied soul is neglected and not cared for. You cannot do anything for their betterment. Whatever remedies they accept, although perhaps temporarily beneficial, are certainly impermanent. For example, a father and mother cannot protect their child. A physician and medicine cannot relieve a suffering patient. And a boat on the ocean cannot protect a drowning man. Om Ajnati Mandasya Chananchana Sankaya Shakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shigave Namah Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svamugadamyam Dadanti Svapamuntikam Vandeham Shiro Shiyoda Padkamlam Shirom Vaishnavamsa Shirupam Sarichatam Saganagnatam Tam Sachivam Sadvaitam Sapadutam Bhajana Saitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Saganalita Shivashakam Vitam Sham He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dino Bandhu Jyatpate Gopesha Gopka Kanta Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vindavanashva Vishvana Sita Devi Panamama Rikhi Pankha Kalpta Visha Kripa Sindhi Visha Patanam Bhavanibhyo Vaishnavyo Namah Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namo. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachani Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskachani Desadani Srila Prabhupada ki. So we are all helplessly under the control of material nature. And this is something we need seriously to consider in our devotional service. That to get inner peace, we should understand this principle. Srila Vyasadeva says to it's conversation between Srila Vyasadeva and Narada Muni, and there you have this verse Tashevaito Payate Kopito Nalapyate Pamatam Yupayata Tashevaito Payate Kopito Nalapyate Pamatam Yupayata. About the third and fourth line. It's this verse says that one should not strive for happiness and distress. One should not strive for happiness in this life. Happiness will come on its own accord, like distress comes on its own accord. Taseva itapayatet korton lapyate atamatam yapayatam talapyate dukapam yatoskam kalena sarvam kabira ramasa. That one should seek for that happiness which is not to be found in this world, that permanent happiness. King Rishabhadev in the 5th canto, chapter 5, verse 1 says the same thing. That instructs his understanders. One should not live to strive for sense gratification, which is also available for hawks and dogs. No, one should perform the tapasya of devotional service and try to retain the eternal happiness of the soul. So these are important instructions for us. You take birth and your karma is fixed, your happiness and distress. You cannot change. We are all all big plan makers, Krishna laughs with our plans. You will get the happiness and distress you are predestined. When I was, a few years ago, I was in New Mayapur in France, and there is one Prabhupada disciple there, Gopaswami, and he's a doctor. And I discussed that with him. You are a doctor, everything is predestined. How do you see that? He said, yes, everything is predestined, but you get a space in which you can do things, but that's very limited. He explains, like also Prabhupada explains that we have when we take birth, all our breaths are counted, and that will be your life. You cannot add even a second to your life. But the duration of life allotted to you is a maximum duration of life. But if in your life you perform sinful activities, you can shorten your lifespan by your activities. In the same way, Gopaswami Prabhu explains that yes, you are predestined by karma, you get this disease, but if you take the right medicine and if you take the right medicine and adopt the appropriate lifestyle, you may change it a little, but not much. So that is, with our activities, we can make it worse. That's all. That's the point. So this is important to understand, that we have so many expectations in life. We think we have children, and we think these children will be nice, and they will study nice. And then in our own lives, we had the same expectations. We want to study to get a nice job, and then you get a nice job. You want a nice wife or husband, and you think a nice family life. I will have nice children, and they will be very obedient. And we wish for them the same, that they nicely study, and then I'm going to get so that they can get a nice job, and so on. But it's only a dream. In real life, this cinema does not happen. Real life is different. You get the happiness and distress predestined to you. Who wants distress? No one. But it comes on his own accord. In the same way, due to your activities in previous lives, you will get happiness. And that's it. You cannot change this thing. So what is this karma? It's a reaction of our activities in our previous life. That if you cause trouble and distress to others, then you receive it in the next life. And that's a fact. If you get distress, the fault does not lie with the others. The other brings you your distress on the order of Krishna. That is what happens. So a devotee always thinks when I undergo suffering, the fault lies in me. Attitude of a devotee towards suffering is described by Brahma. Tatena kampansa mikshma bunjatme varna kitam vibhavam. Yeah, this verse says Tatena kampansa mikshma bunjatme varna. vipakam, et vakvavodir vidadanam stage video mukti padesudaipa. The devotee thinks, oh Krishna, I'm suffering due to my past misdeeds, but you give me only a token of the suffering. And Lord Brahma says, if one accepts this in one's life, the fault lies in me, and Krishna, and because I try to become a devotee, Krishna gives me only a little suffering, you are ready for liberation. So that is important, that inner attitude towards suffering for devotee. If you think that I'm undergoing suffering and the fault lies by the others, and I will retaliate, there you go again, you make new karma. And you will make it only worse, and worse. That is what will happen. But if we accept it, yes, this is what I deserve. Oh Krishna, I'm responsible. I accept the reaction. That's fine. And you are so kind. You give me only a little of the reaction. So by devotional service, your suffering becomes diminished. Just by our inner attitude that we accept the suffering. Yes, I deserve it. I'm not going to fight against it. I accept it. Does not mean if you are diseased that you should not try to cure yourself, but we should always be aware that I will be cured if Krishna willing, not by my own endeavor. It's the mercy of Krishna and this is an important aspect explained here. We cannot relieve ourselves from suffering. We have to undergo it. But by becoming Krishna conscious, we transcend the suffering. Because where is the suffering experienced? In the mind. And why is it experienced in the mind? Because of false ego. Because we are identified with the body and the mind. The more you identify with your mind, the more you will suffer. So a devotee learns that he's not the body and learns to observe his mind. And if we have a nice sadhana, we have the spiritual power not to identify with the mind and to say no to the mind. This happens, that happens, and the mind brings emotions that now you must be crying or whatever. And we are just the servant of the body and the mind. We should stop serving the body and being the servant of the mind. We are the servant of Krishna, spirit soul. So we should become equal to this happiness and distress and learn to tolerate it. As the first instruction in Bhagavad Gita, matras pastukantya sitashnastukadakata agamapa ininatyastam stikshasva bharata. One should tolerate heat in the summer, cold in the winter. In the same way, one should tolerate this happiness and distress which comes with the body. We have nothing to do with it. The soul is meant for Ananda Maya Vyasat. It's meant for happiness, but not the happiness of the body. Spiritual happiness, ecstatic love for Krishna. That is the real pleasure, and that is eternal pleasure. Bhakti ras. And that is attained in relationship if we redevelop our relationship with Krishna. So that is what Prahlad Maharaj is expressing here. It's because of the body conception of life we are suffering. And we have to transcend this. We have to understand who we are, not the body, but a spirit soul, which has nothing to do with the body. It's even not connected with the body. It's the symptom of the soul is consciousness. And our pure consciousness is Krishna consciousness. If the consciousness of the soul is polluted by the three modes, we identify with the body. And that produces material desires. So we have to remove this contamination. But from the moment we take shelter of Krishna, Krishna says, Nami Bhaktya Pranashyati, my devotee will never perish. In the second chapter, he says that whatever devotional service you render, there is no loss or diminution. The effect is eternal. Therefore, we cannot solve these temporary problems. We may have temporary remedies, but the real thing is that we must realize our real identity. And therefore, by performing devotional service, we come out of the dream. At night, we dream, and then we are awake. We think we are awake, but we are entering a daydream, thinking we are the body. So all people in this world, unless they are pure devotees, they are like zombies in a dream, thinking I'm the body, thinking this belongs to me, and thinking this matter in this world will make me happy. But it does not. So Krishna says, Nami Bhaktya Pranashyati to Arjuna, declare it boldly, my devotee never perishes. That Baldev Vidyabhushan comments on this verse of Bhagavad Gita, which is mentioned in the purport here, and he adds verses between the verses of Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna says, Name Bhaktya Pranashyati. Don't declare it boldly, Arjuna, that my devotee never will perish. And Arjuna is saying, oh Krishna, why are you asking me to declare it boldly? Why are you not doing it yourself? And Krishna replies, oh, well, Krishna says, I'm from Mathura. And those from Mathura, they are known as cheaters. But they will never cheat those whom they love. And that's a big truth. If we love Krishna and perform devotional service, Krishna will not cheat us. We will start to see the reality in this world. We wake up spiritual. We come out of the dream, the daydream, that we are the body. And that is the process of devotional service. We are completely dependent on Krishna in everything we do. And that is what Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita. We are not the doers. I'm not speaking now, it's a super soul. But as a soul, I desire what to speak. Krishna does everything in this world. I even don't know how it works to move my hand, but Krishna does it. So we have to become more deeply conscious of what's going on in this world and who is really in control. Krishna says, Pragatukeyamani gunakam nasavs ahankara vimudatmakartam iti manyate. He says, one who thinks that he's the doer in this world, Krishna says he's a Vimuda, a super S, because everything is done by material nature. And Krishna says that Maya Dakshina Pragati, and I'm controlling material nature as a super soul. Krishna controls everything. So that's important. That therefore, whatever we do, we cannot do it on our own strength. Before we speak on spiritual subject matters, we pray Om Ajnana Timanasya Jnanjna Shalakaya Sakshva Militam Yena Tasmai Spurvenu. We are praying to the spiritual master. Please give me the power to speak, to do things. So also Brahma, before he started the creation, he prayed to the Supreme Lord for empowerment. Empower me, please. Without your empowerment, I cannot not do anything. So the devotee becomes so dependent on the spiritual master, Prabhupada, the Guru Parampara, to ask for their blessing. Because the blessings of Krishna comes to their representative. And therefore, to get his blessings, they must nicely follow the instructions and take spiritual life very serious. That we are worshipping the deity, we should be aware it should be first class. This is not ordinary. This is for Krishna. Whatever you do for Krishna must be first class. You must strive to bring it to the topmost perfection, because we do it for Krishna. Therefore, it must be nicely done. Because otherwise, nothing we can do. You can take a medicine, but you may be cured, not be cured. It depends on Krishna. That a child, we can try to protect the child, but many times we are helpless and things happen. So we are completely depending on the mercy of Krishna and the spiritual master. And this is and that makes us humble, if we understand that. That's the process of surrender. Process of surrender means, without the mercy of the spiritual master, I'm nothing. And therefore, I must accept and reject, but I must accept what's good for devotional service. I must reject what's against devotional service, according to the instructions of the spiritual master. And if I do that, then we get the mercy of the spiritual master. And gradually we understand Krishna is my only protector. Krishna is my only mentoring. And then gradually you come to the point of surrender. And surrender means accepting in our lives everything what happens, good or bad, as the mercy of Krishna. And that's essential for our spiritual advancement. That if we get suffering, is Krishna rectifying us. If we get some bodily happiness, we should not be enlightened with it. That will not help us, this bodily happiness. And if we can give us good health, that's an opportunity to serve Him, to serve Krishna nicely in devotional service. So this is very important. Our own plans, if they are not empowered by Krishna, will not yield any results. It may get temporary results, but that's all. That if we follow Krishna's instructions and act in devotional service, your result is always eternal, never perishes. And these are important lessons to learn here from this verse of Prahlad Maharaj, who is praying to Lord Nrsingadev. Lord Nrsingadev has touched his head, and by that he comes completely in Suddha Sattva, spirit transcendental platform. And from the transcendental platform only you can see reality. And this is reality, spiritual reality. And we should try to live according to this knowledge, these instructions. This is only one verse, but so many aspects of inner attitude we have to cultivate based on this transcendental knowledge. Any questions? Comments? Yes.
Hi, Krsna. Thanks for explaining about the soul. I had this question for many days. We are aware in the practice of Krishna consciousness for many years now that we are not a body, we are a soul. But what happens when we live our daily life, we tend to forget that and we identify falsely with our body. We use false ego, which doesn't go into our which we get upset, or we try to find someone to blame something. This happens, this reason or this person. So one thing you mentioned that healing Krishna as a center of attention for focusing on Krishna and focus on service, and instead of identify ourselves as a body, we should identify ourselves consciously as a soul. So now just to ask one question on a practical life as a devotee, how we can put into practice, because I feel that I spend a lot of time, I think 99% I still identify myself as a body, though I know that I'm not a body, and I react to a situation or to a scenario, thinking only from body point of view, not from a soul point of view. Don't see each individual as they also has a Paramatma in that, and we identify that person also as a body. So how practically we as a devotee who are still learning about this, not fully into it, we can do that in our daily life, so we can physically understand.
In 1992, I was in family life. I had 2 children. I was getting up at 3:30 in the morning. My family was sleeping, 3:30. I took a shower and I took my car and was driving to the temple. It's nearly the same distance from your house to here. That when I arrived at the temple around 4:30, Bhakta Paul was putting Gaunitai on the altar, and we had the morning program. We had the Gurvastikam prayers, the Shinyan prayers, then Tulsi Puja, and Guru Puja, all in one. And we were reading one verse of the Bhagavatam in purport, and then around 5:45, I was driving back to Rome and chanting on the way. And then about 6:30, I was waking up my family. And at 7 o'clock, driving to my work, first dropping off children, wife at work. And then at work, I started around 8 o'clock. And I was an accountant. I had a lot of input on the computer. And while doing the input, I had Bhagavad Gita with me, and I was memorizing verse while doing that. While driving, I was hearing Prabhupada. That I had difficulties in my work. I prayed to Krishna, please help me. I want to give my life to you. So by that I was, and I had sometimes serious challenges at all, because I was becoming a devotee, and that was not appreciated. But Krishna helped me always to remain steady. That at noontime I was taking prasadam that I prepared the evening before, and I was chanting 6 to 8 rounds. And then at 1 to 5:30, I had my job again, then pick up my wife home. At home, I was chanting the balance of my rounds, and I was cooking for the next morning, offering to Krishna. And then I was reading Bhagavatam, first Bhagavad Gita, and then Bhagavatam, 8 to 10 pages every day. And then I was going to sleep. And I had not an ordinary job. I had a company. And I was also employer. I had employees. I had to take care of all of this. But it was a blissful life. So for my experience, I had no problem to become Krishna conscious. I had too much struggles in my thing, and I took shelter of Krishna during these struggles. So why can't you do that? That's my question. What holds you back to do that? That weakness of heart, we have to overcome. Otherwise, if we are not strong, we cannot become Krishna conscious. We remain on the same level year after year after year. You have to come out of your comfort zone. And otherwise, it doesn't happen. It means surrender. We must do our part, and then Krishna will do his part. Hare Krishna. Something else? Good. Thank you. Yeah.
So when you say have limited lifespan, like that is decided already, but we have a choice based on activity that someone do a design for how that it's not a kind of.
There's too much noise going on, and my hearing is not so good. If you can.
Yeah, like you say, we have limited lifespan.
Yeah, that understood. Yeah.
So now, based on activity, we can change it. How we do
a little.
So if someone do a suicide, how that is done?
If someone has a diet, suicide. No, suicide is not Krishna's plan. It's us not agreeing with his plan. I want to stop the suffering, but it doesn't help. Those who will commit suicide in their next life, they don't get immediately a gross body. They get a ghost body for quite some time. And they suffer more in that ghost body. So there is no solution to get rid of our suffering by suicide. It's just lunacy. It makes things worse. It's rebellion towards Krishna. I don't want to accept the suffering that is allotted to me, but we must. But the suffering is going on in the mind, but we are not the mind. Krishna consciousness gives you the power not to identify with the mind. If you don't identify with the mind, you don't take the mind so serious. And there is no suffering anymore. For a Krishna conscious person, there is no suffering. Okay? Good. Thank you very much. We'll have now the Guru Puja. Jai Prabhupada ki